Hi, wanted to talk a little bit about proof of concepts. So this is something you probably all do. You've heard a lot about. If you're on the technology side, that's like a way of living. I have had the opportunity to speak with a lot of customers who are always wanting to do proof of concepts, particularly with some of the products we have in data masking, data retention, AI, things like that. And one of the challenges that I find is that over the years, the definition of POCs or proof of concept has been misinterpreted. And really, when it comes to identifying what we're trying to do, a lot of companies waste a lot of time in it. So if you're a technologist, if you're an analyst, if you're a project manager, if you're someone who is somehow involved in a proof of concept at your organization or with your customer, here are a few things from the other side of the fence that may be useful in doing more effective versions of it. First and foremost, a POC is exactly that. It's a proof of a concept. You have a concept, you have an application, some solution, some idea that the organization wants to validate. And they really want to validate if it's going to fly. Is this really going to help us do what we want to do? Will it get us to our promised land, right? So if you have clarity in that objective, your POC needs to completely answer a specific portion of it. And this is the key area where most organizations get it wrong. A POC is not to do 100% of the product. I see that all the time. We do data masking and customers like, yeah, I've got these 10 objects. I want to mask all of them. Well, it's not a POC anymore then. It's an implementation. And even if a vendor is doing part of it, your people are spending time, right? You're investing a lot of your people's time into something that you may not even go forward and do it. What I've found is the most successful thing that some of the smartest customers I've worked with do is that they pick one of these two categories. They pick either areas that bring the highest business value and a use case from there, or they pick the biggest technical risk, and then they focus on that. Ideally, if you can find a use case that addresses both of those, that's perfect. What this does is it completely answers the question of, is it worth moving forward and investing more time, money, doing a full-blown trial, doing some sort of a contractual arrangement, with SLAs, things like that. I'll give you an example, particularly when you talk about things like data masking. So with DataMasker, when we do trials with customers, we ask them to pick their highest risk area, right? Typically you may have, hey, we have personal information in, person accounts or contacts release or something. And I have a lot of that data that I want to mask, anonymized, things like that. And we'll go, great. Pick one of those objects that has this information and pick something that has a large number of records, because typically a lot of customers use DataMasker because we mask 1 million records, more than 1 million records a month. Because typically a lot of customers use DataMasker because we mask close to 100 million every 24 hours. So we tell them to pick a large volume object with highly sensitive information and then use DataMasker to mask it. And that covers their two risks, the risk of, highly important business use case around security, and also like a really valid technical scenario of what if I'm going to run this against a very large volume object. That's kind of the perfect scenario for a POC. And anytime you get an opportunity to do a proof of concept, that's what you want to look at. Find the biggest business bang for your buck, find the biggest technical risk that you foresee, and validate both of them. A third one that a number of smart project manager, program manager type people do is they want to time box it so that they have a sense of how long will this take if they were to go live with this thing. So that's my 2 cents. Hope this is useful. Let me know if you have some other areas from a POC perspective that are worth thinking about and I may have missed. Thank you so much.